What's up, y'all? I'm getting ready to show y'all this video from this doctor. His name is Dr. Chris Martenson, and he actually used to work for Phizer. And so he did a video about what's going on with this court case because, you know, the FDA and Fauci and all of them is in court right now because a FOIA was put into action, basically the Freedom of Information Act request was put out there. So now they have to show this data because the FDA asked for 55 years to show the safety data on what's going on with this. 55 years. And you have to ask yourself, why would somebody want to wait 55 years to show the true data about what's going on with this? So, like I said, I ain't finna do no more talking. I'm finna show you this clip. If I was y'all, I would be keeping up with this court case to see what's going on with. Watch this video from this doctor. There are tons of doctors that have been, you know, speaking out. It was 50,000 doctors alone that signed the petition not to do this mandate because the research was showing, like, if you 18 and under, you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning than dying from the you know what. So, like I said, ain't none of this my words. This is all doctors and scientists saying this, so you ain't got to listen to a word I say. You keep hearing people say, do your own research, because they can't even hide this stuff no more. So anyway, let's get to this video. I'm just going to show you a little clip of something that they knew early on from the safety data, and then y'all click the link in the description to watch the full video. All right. Love y'all. Peace.
In mind. Very long report. I read the whole thing, read it twice. Here's the issues are immediately apparent, however, in table 1. So they said there were roughly by this time around 29 million doses had been delivered in the United States, but this is a worldwide report. I don't honestly know by between December 1st and February 28th. I don't know how many doses had been given. So we don't have that information, but what we do have is that they said they recorded 42,086 of these spontaneously generated adverse events. So of those, first thing that pops out, females to males, 29,914. So 30,000 of these were females, 9,000 were men. Already, timeout, we can say I have a safety signal here for whatever reason. More females are reporting issues with this than males, and we'd want to understand that. This report should have gone in, despite the spontaneous nature of this, and attempted to explain this disparity. There's no language to explain this except another shrug, which is kind of like, hey, we noticed more females than males. I noticed that too. There was no attempt to understand why this disparity might have existed. And as well, to show you the sloppiness of this data, there is no data on nearly 3,000 of these as to even gender. Like when you say, well, we can't really tell because, you know, there might be missing data. When you can't even define gender, you're missing some pretty basic data. So that's just, you know, first thing just on table 1 on gender. I think there's legitimate questions that arise automatically. The second thing that shows up on table 1 is the age range, 0.01 to 107 years. 0.01. That's 100th of a year. That's 3.56 days long. How did a 3.56-day-old infant get exposed in this particular case? That, too, is left unsaid. I have to interpret and think it was maybe through breastfeeding, and they're calling that an event. But at any rate, that's probably the most likely thing that we have there. Mean age, 50.9 years. There's a bunch of under 17-year-olds in here. And this was, I don't believe it had been approved for under, I think this was 18 and up during this time period. So that's a little something there to discuss. But you can see that there are a lot of adverse events here that are being reported in the 31 to 50 zone. That is where that's the median in this example, is right in there in that bracket. So the case outcomes, recovered and recovering, out of these 42,000, there's 19,000 are recovered or recovering. Those are two separate terms to me, so I'm not sure why those are blobbed into one. Recovering with sequelae, that means they're recovering, but there was some sort of there's a residual thing. Like if you had myocarditis and you're recovering, or you're recovered, but now you have persistent heart pain, you're recovered, but you have that sequelae. So At any rate, there's that, and not recovered at the time of the report is 11,000 total. And by the way, unknown, 9,400 on the dot. I'm a huge fan of not round numbers. I don't like round numbers in reports like these. If I was an investigator, I'd hone in on that one. Like, why 9,400 on the dot? That's kind of a weird thing, but it could be innocent, but it's how my mind rolls. All right. Then they had figure 1, which is pretty interesting. So in light blue is non-serious, and this purple is serious. So here they have general disorders. They had over 20,000 of these were serious adverse events. And there's a classification system for non-serious versus serious. They're graded. We see here that there were quite a few, maybe around 13,000 in nervous system disorders here. We see musculoskeletal here, gastrointestinal here. We've got respiratory, skin issues. Some people had rashes that were quite extreme. What does that say? Lymphodural? Is that what they're calling that? Complications? All kinds of stuff on down. What's interesting here, though, is what's missing. I don't see any reproductive issues down here because we do know that a lot of women report alterations to their menstrual cycles, either stopping, starting, heavier flows, clotting, all kinds of issues around that. It's interesting that it doesn't show up as a classification because it's a pretty common reported thing. So that's a missing element from this particular adverse event monitoring system. It missed that somehow. Don't know how that happened. So at any rate, we can see there's actually, many, many thousands of things. You would think, what I would think, if you said within the first 3 months, of which we're really ramping up, when you have this many adverse events, this many serious adverse events, to me, that's a safety signal. And you say, wow, we should look into that, see if we can understand this. So let's break it down a little bit, and we'll talk about this